Oh yeah, so it is Thursday and I'm cooking again. It must be I just spend all my time in the kitchen, but actually I enjoy cooking so much that I don't actually mind spending a lot of time in the kitchen. Today's dinner's coming up in a minute, but I'm just going to make some rice pudding. I did make some yesterday. I hoped it was going to last maybe, you know, a day, extra day, but no, it didn't. Everybody was that excited that I made rice pudding that it all got used in a dish that was actually double this size. I'm just cleaning my glasses. If you can hear a knocking noise in the background, it's the tumble dryer right round the corner, but it's still loud. So I am going to make, now yesterday I had to triple the amount because everyone was so excited. Today I am not doing that, I'm just going to double the amount. So I'll get my scales out. Just put my scales there. So it's just pudding rice, but I don't know what's happening actually with rice pudding because I went to Tesco's. Tesco's are completely sold out of pudding rice. Apparently they had a massive run of it just after Christmas. And then I went to Sainsbury's. Sainsbury's had none. I went to Waitrose. Waitrose had none. In the end, managed to get some at Asda. It's only £1.50 a bag. But yeah, managed to get some at Asda. And I still think it was very, very crazy that we couldn't get any. So I have buttered a dish, left a dollop of butter in there because it helps with the skin. I'm going to sprinkle on 80 grams of pudding rice. I might actually end up making a little bit more because I can see me getting complaints. Well, I need a pint of milk, but and I make mine with skimmed milk because we only use skimmed milk in this house. We're not fans of any other. We used to use semi-skimmed, and then lockdown happened and you couldn't get semi-skimmed milk anywhere, so we just then changed to skimmed milk. So I'm going to pour in my skimmed milk. That's a pint. Oh, shall I do a pint and a half? Okay, so I've done a pint and a half and I've done 100 grams of pudding rice to a pint and a half of milk. So let me just put the pudding rice back away in the cupboard. Then what I will do now is I will sprinkle on some sugar. I'm shouting because I'm over the other side of the kitchen and I'm just going to get my ground cinnamon. So I will sprinkle on some ground cinnamon. I will also sprinkle on some mixed allspice. This all helps with the skin on the top, and my husband loves the skin on the top. And I'll bung in a bit of sugar, not weighing it, don't need to. I'll just get my spatula and give it a little mix up. So it is now 4 o'clock, so that will be ready for about 6:30. I will put that in the oven. I'll turn it on, so my fan oven, I'll put it on about 170, yeah, about 170. Now in my previous video I was talking about my school and my home economics, and this is my apron from school, and we had to embroider our names on the top so everybody knew whose aprons were which. And I just thought, you know, I'll just show you that I'm still using my school apron. It doesn't fit like it used to, as you can imagine. There's a few extra pounds and when I was at school and doing sports and so on. But yeah, I've still got my apron. So today's dinner, here we go. is stir-fried jerk prawns, jerk prawns and peppers. I thought I was gone back to my previous Ann Summers life then. That jerk prawns and peppers. So I'm just going to grab everything I need and I'll be straight back. So I've got everything out for the prawns. I'm also, when I'm finished with the prawns, I'm going to make some homemade sausage rolls with Filo pastry and sausage and fennel. So anyway, one thing at a time. Let's get the stir-fry prawns done. So I have jerk seasoning, sunflower oil, spring onions, dollop of garlic, king prawns and peppers. Now the king prawns, let me just get these out. So the king prawns, I ordered Waitrose to deliver my shopping and they didn't have any king prawns, so I went to Asda and got king prawns. But Waitrose, no, not Waitrose, Tesco's, didn't have, Asda didn't have king prawns raw. They had king prawns cooked. I nipped over to Tesco's and got some Tesco's raw king prawns. If I've got that back to front, whatever. But anyway, one shop only had them cooked, the other shop had them raw. So I'll have to do the king prawns raw first before I add in the cooked ones. It will make sense, I promise. Right, so I'm going to get a different pan to cook with. Now usually I would do this in a wok, but my wok has had a bit of an accident, so I will be doing it in my big non-stick pan, which I've got here. You can see in it. If I have to raise my tripod up, I will do. But first of all, I'm going to get my prawns in a dish to marinate. I'm just going to take my sausages out of that dish and put my sausages in that dish. Then I can use my little pot. Take them in there for a second. Just checking my oven was on then, it's very quiet. Okay, so in here I'm going to make my jerk marinade. Now normally I have the Levi Roots jerk paste, but another thing I couldn't get in the supermarket. So I will just chuck in about, I don't know, about 5 tablespoons of jerk, and this is the Tropical Sun jerk seasoning. Good enough. Now to make it into a marinade I have to add oil. So I have my sunflower oil here. Let's take that lid off. And just put enough in to make it into a paste. Let's get a spoon. Go, if you can see. I'm going to just make it into a paste. So it's runny, but it's thick enough it will stick to the prawns. Okay, so I've in there as well. Now I'm going to add the juice of a orange. Don't be shocked that I'm using an orange. You don't actually taste the orange too much. It just helps with bringing out the prawn flavour. So I'm just going to get my little squeezer here, cut my orange in half, and I will get the juice. I just cut that in half, like so. I rolled it so it will get the, should I take it off that one, so I can get the juice out really easily. I'm not leaving any of the goodness behind. So there's one. Get my red pot, as you know. All my bits go in there, and then they go in the food bin. Next orange. I hope you're having decent weather and the ice and the flooding has calmed down a bit for you guys. It has here. It's really sunny here today. Still cold, but really sunny. But a lovely lady I know, basement flooded and some of their land flooded, and you just feel so bad for them because, you know, you're getting yourself sorted, you're doing your things, and you know, and then all of a sudden something like that happens. I'm just glad that they're okay, because that's the main thing. That's all that really matters, is that they're okay. Right, so I've got my juice of an orange, no pips because they all get stuck in this really nicely. Okay, so I've done that. Stir that in. Right, put that to one side. Next, I will prep my spring onions. So you need about 3 spring onions. This will feed 4. It's actually feeding 3 today. And I will get a sharper knife. Okay, I will get these little dishes. So I've got pink that's normally, I've got one for fish, one for meat. Then I've got these little ones that are for vegetables and fruit. I got them from Dunham Mills, and they were like £1 each in the sale, and I don't think they're much more out of the sale. But they are really handy for when you're cooking. You want to have everything prepped ready into hand. So I'm just taking off any scraggy bits off my spring onions. It's not the greatest season for spring onions at the minute, but these aren't too bad. And I'll put my food scraps in there. I'm going to take off the ends of that one because that's not great, and that one. Okay, now what you need to do is separate your whites from the greens and try and slice them as thin as you possibly can. I've lost my cooking helper today because he's out on another errand, so he's busy, so I'm cooking on my own today, which actually I do enjoy doing sometimes. Normally I have like music blaring in the background, but of course with it being YouTube I can't copyright and all that, so I think Diagnosis Murder is playing in the background. I do like watching reruns of that. I'm really thoroughly enjoying the new Traitors, and I love this time of year for TV programs because we've got Traitors, we've got New Dragon's Den tonight, there's Celebrity Hunted, there's Dancing on Ice starting at the weekend, there's the new season of Casualty because of course they took their break, so we've got that. When You Call the Midwife, which I absolutely adore. There's Vera. So it's the time of year I love all the after Christmas programs. I'm also watching on Sky. It's also on CBS. I have a VPN, so I can also watch it on CBS. New season of SWAT. Hondo. You know, I mean, that's Hondo is a man I would happily leave my other half for. But unfortunately, he is spoken for. But there's also Matlock, which I used to watch the old Matlock back in the 80s, 70s, 80s when I was younger, because I'm getting old now, at 54 this year. But Matlock is this lady who calls herself Matlock on it, and she uses the fact that, you know, like the old lawyer solicitor thing. And her daughter died because of some big pharmacy and law company, and she's wheedled her way in there to get answers. So I'm enjoying that, and we're also watching Blacklist again. So we're on season 5 currently, no, season 6 currently out of 10. It's been so good watching them again, and the guy James Spader, who played Raymond Reddington, is a genius how he plays that part. So every night we're enjoying a few episodes of Blacklist, and then at the weekends we binge it. But anyway, back to cooking. That's about, don't need any more of that. So I've got the greens and I have the whites separated. Next to the peppers, all my fruit and veg have been washed as soon as I got them. So your peppers you need to cut into thin strips. So take my ends off like you do, and put them in that. So all these scraps you see me putting in this. Where we live, we have a separate food bin. I don't know if many other places do or don't. I don't know. So you have your recycling bin, you have your black bin, and then you have your garden bin, and then you have a food bin. So you have one that stays in your house that you fill up in compostable caddy bags in it, and then it goes outside into a bigger bin which they collect. So yeah, I put all my scraps in there so they don't get mixed up with like tissues or cling film or anything like that. If you wonder why I put them in a separate pot. Right, so I'm just going to take the seeds out of these, and then I will cut them into as thin as strips as I can get, and I'll pop back then. Right, they're all sliced up into as thin as I fancied slices. Let's get the card to sharpen my nose for me. Right, so that is everything prepped and ready to go. So the next thing I need to do is to heat the pan and stir fry the garlic and the white parts of the onion only. So I need to put in another little splash of sunflower oil. Now if you're on Weight Watchers, this is only 2 points a portion. I've been researching, and then if you're on a low calorie diet, it's really good for that, and it's also low in fat. So just a bit of useless information there, but yeah, I'm going to heat that up and then stir fry the garlic with the white parts of the onion for about 10 seconds, and then I will take them out, put them back into a dish, and then I will add my raw prawns first, cook until pink, add my cooked prawns, and then cook them all together for about a minute, then put my onion and garlic mix back in, my spring onion and garlic mix back in, then add my peppers, season with a bit of salt and pepper, add the marinade, and then add the green part of the spring onions. Yep. What I might do actually is put my prawns in the marinade, the cooked prawns in the marinade, while I am waiting for that oil to heat up. So yeah, we'll put them, I mean, you can put them all together, you just have to make sure that your raw prawns are cooked. But if you do that, you risk overcooking your cooked prawns while you're waiting for the raw prawns to cook. So I will do them quite happily separately. So I will put my cooked prawns in there, and they can sit in that marinade for a little while, and I will just open the bag of the raw prawns ready. Okay, so the oil is hot, so I'm going to put in my dollop of garlic, and the white part of the spring onion only. Okay, that only for about 10 seconds. Let's turn it down a bit. You don't want to catch the you don't want to catch the garlic at all. And then I'm going to put in my raw prawns, make sure there's none left in there. Put that back on. Cook my raw prawns until they are pink. So I turn that back up again, because it stopped sizzling now. I should have let it get a bit hotter, because it's all about stir frying them in hot oil, and that wasn't hot any longer, was it? So, but it's coming back up now. So cook them until they are pink. Okay, so they are now nearly pink. So it'll be another couple of seconds, and they will be all done. Right, there we go. A little bit more. So now they are done, I can add the prawns that have been in the marinade. So these are the cooked prawns. And like I said, the heat will go down, drop down again quickly as soon as you add liquid to the pan. I will just put some hot water in that dish. In the meantime, I've also got a bowl here with some butter in, waiting to be melted for my sausage rolls when I've done this. Now, even though, you know, you can serve this up straight away, you can also reheat it back in the pan. I wouldn't reheat it in your microwave, I'd reheat it in your pan. Just because I'm doing dinner before everyone gets in, because I don't fancy waiting until they get in to then start cooking. So yeah, so everything's in there. I need to season it with a bit of some pepper and some salt, not too much. And I'm also going to not season all for a change, but as usual, a bit of my chili sauce that my son brought me back from Florida, which I tend to put in most foods. It's amazing. Yesterday I made Cheggy bread, and it's a lady that's on Instagram, and apparently her nephew couldn't say eggy, so he called it Cheggy bread. And basically, you get your bread or your roll, you butter one side, that side is the side you turn over into your pan. On the side that isn't, you put on a slice of ham or any slice of meat you want to, and then in the jug you mix some grated cheese, some mustard and an egg, mix it all up and then pile that on top of the ham, put it in the oven for about 20 minutes, and it's like a meaty eggy bread with cheese. Oh my god, it was so good. And the bit of that chili sauce on the top absolutely made it. It really did. Now we're doing Cheats way as well today. So I have microwave long grain white rice, which I have done. Just done in microwave. Once I'm finished, I'll use the same pan, wash it up and use the same pan, mix a couple of eggs in the jug, scramble them up, put my rice in, put the eggs in, and make some quick and easy egg fried rice to go with this. Right, now that is sizzling, add my pepper slices in. Now if I had my wok, it would be really hot, and I would use rapeseed oil. Rapeseed oil you can cook at a higher temperature, it's really great for that. But without my wok, of course it's not getting quite to the same temperature. So it's just washing up. I know I have a dishwasher, but it's sometimes just as quick to wash up. It's not quite getting to the same temperature and sizzling and like cooking off that liquid as much as it would do if it was in my wok, but we are getting there. And I'm just going to let that stir fry. Because I've had to make the jerk with the oil, there's a bit more liquid in there that I'd normally have, but it will get there. Okay, while that is cooking, and it's been in for a couple of minutes, I'm going to add the green parts of my spring onions, and I'll let that carry on. I'm going to make Filo sausage rolls. So I had some Filo pastry left over. Got my silpat mat, which I'll just put around there so it doesn't get hot. I have some Filo pastry left over from making chicken pies. So I thought, well, I've got sausages in the freezer, let's take them out to make some sausage rolls. So yeah, and then of course this weekend I shall buy quite a few whole chickens. I will roast them because whole chickens are so cheap at the minute. I will roast them and then I will cut them up into portions. Some of them I'll just use my hands and shred it all. Put them in freezer bags into measured portions. into measured portions, ready for different meals. So yeah, right, I've got to remove the skin from these sausages while that is cooking. I would have got sausage meat, but they've sold out of sausage meat. Everywhere seems to be selling out of everything now, and it's, yeah, I don't know if everybody is cooking the same thing, I don't know, but yeah, I'm just going to take the skins off these lovely, extra tasty, oh, I dropped a sausage in there, oh my god, extra tasty, thanks god it's being cooked, everything's being cooked, extra tasty sausages from Asda. I mean, you can buy skinless sausages, like I said, but it's just as easy if you can't get your sausage meat, just to just make a slit down the middle and just squeeze the meat out. Then I have a meat potato masher I only use for meat, and I just make sure that it's all squashed up. I do this even when I buy the sausage meat. As usual, little sprinkle of seasonal will go in my sausages. Right, I put my sausages to one side. I fold my silpat mat up because I need to chop an onion to go in that. And I will just give my prawns a stir. Right, and the peppers, of course, we all like our peppers crunchy. We don't want them, you know, all sodden. So I would just put the lid on that. I've turned the heat off it. Leave it for a couple of minutes. You don't really want to overcook your prawns. I will find an onion and I will just quickly chop an onion to go in my sausage meat. Right, so I've now added the onion into the sausages. I'm just going to move my prawns off of there because that's ready. As you can, if I bring it back over, you'll be able to see. And, I've left some of the juice because it's nice on the rice. So anyway, I've mixed my sausage meat with some seasonal and onion. So it was, even though it wasn't sausage meat, it is sausage meat. I took it out the skins. Right, I'm going to put that to one side. Over here, making sure not to put my silpat mat on the hob that I had on. Just there. I'll move it over there actually. Right, on here I'm going to put my Filo pastry. It might be too warm to be over there actually, so let me just move everything over to there. You can still see, I hope. Yeah, you can. Okay, so roll my lay. I'm going to lay one sheet down first of my. I will put it here so you can see, of my Filo pastry. So remembering it's super thin Filo. This is pre-bought Filo. I used to make it myself, but it's so easy to pre-buy stuff now. Certain things, so I just do. I'm just going to melt the butter and get my pastry brush. My little pastry brush out because I need that. What I need to is put a lid on that so it doesn't spit in my microwave and make a mess. I quickly melt the butter, then brush it over this sheet, then put the next sheet on the top, brush it over, carry on until I've used all the sheets I'm using up. Okay. So I'll give that a stir. I like using a silpat mat because nothing sticks, easy to wash, and as you know, I used to own a cake shop. These things were a godsend for rolling icing and making cake decorations and so on. I do miss having my cake shop, but you know, when COVID first started, it wasn't viable. Everyone was baking at home, but people couldn't get together to celebrate anyway. And then Law was getting really busy. Again, I was taking on more and more. So yeah, it made sense. And you know, I still do family and friends that need my crazy 3D cakes and so on. Right, next sheet on top of there, and then I'll do the same, and then I'll put the other sheet on. Okay, so that is all covered in melted butter. Now I need to cut them into 2 rectangles. Okay, so this is just one rectangle now, and then I'm going to put half the sausage meat down the centre, brush the edges with a bit more melted butter, roll it up and cut them into about 4 centimetre pieces, and then put them on a baking sheet. So I've got my gloves on, just because I'm handling raw meat as well as I'm cooking fish and stuff. And then I'm going to roll my sausage, meat and onion mix up. I've got butter on that edge already. Okay, and then I'm going to just take a bit more just to brush in between those loose leaves, just so everything is sealed in. And then I will seal the edges just on these 2 edges here. Then I will do the same with the other sheet. Right, I've not quite made them in equal sizes as you saw just then, but I did brush a bit more butter just to make sure that the pastry doesn't burst open. I'm just putting them on a greased baking tin, and then I shall make the other rectangle, and then I shall come back and show you just before I put them in the oven. So there we go. So it is, they're all on the tray. I'm just going to brush them with a bit of the leftover butter, just to make sure they're going to be all nice and golden. Okay. So that's with a bit of the butter. I will pour that butter just to one side, and I will now get 1 egg and a fork. I will break the egg in there. Right there for a second. Quickly lift that up with a fork. Okay. And then I will brush the sausage rolls with the beaten egg as well. Okay. We'll keep the beaten egg in this bowl just to one side, because when I turn them over I will beat them again. I'm just going to put them in the oven. They can go quite happily underneath the bottom oven. And there you go, I'm just going to clean up. So I've just put a little bit of oil in my non-stick pan. I've got my rice ready. I'm just going to get a jug and crack a couple of eggs in. I was also just getting the bacon out for tomorrow morning's cooked breakfast with mushrooms and bagels and bacon. It's an all-day breakfast, but it's low-calorie all-day breakfast, which is the best kind of all-day breakfast. So I've got a couple of eggs in here. I'm just gonna whisk up quickly with a fork. Right, I'm gonna tip my rice in there. Get another spatula. Look, everything's moved a bit. Is that better? Yeah, there you go. Get my spatula and make sure my rice is all broken up. I mean, this rice is what, 49p or 69p a packet in Asda. I said we shop at Waitrose most of the time. Asda's about the same distance away from our house as Waitrose is. But there are some things I like better at Asda, and vice versa with Waitrose. But I like Asda long grain microwave rice. The only other one I like apart from Asda's is Lidl's, because I love Lidl's. Lidl's is about the same distance away as well, so we're really lucky to have so many supermarkets. And we've got a small Sainsbury's as well, and a small Tesco's. But the big Tesco's is a bit further away, and Aldi's is a bit further away. So it depends what we want, where we go. I mean, the pork fillet at Lidl's is amazing, and half the price of the one that is at Asda. But when we buy beef short rib, we can only get it from Waitrose in packs that are big enough for our family. If you go to Asda, you have to buy 3 or 4 packs. So yeah, I'm just going to make the egg fried rice, and I know that my son is on his way home from work, and I know that my other half is on his way back as well from doing all his chores. So the timing is great. So what I shall do is I shall get on and do this, and I will put some pictures when everything's finished. Thank you for joining me. This is probably the longest cooking one I've done since I did the Jamaican patties, which I've had a request to do them again in a more in-depth video, so I shall do that. Tomorrow there is no cooking because tomorrow's Friday, which means it's dad and daughter day, and he's chosen to go to Popeye Chicken instead of the sizzling pub. tomorrow, so we will be at Popeyes, but I dare say I will film whatever we're having. I shall be not having the mac and cheese and the biscuit and gravy, I don't think, because tomorrow's Weight Watchers Way Day. But then again, we will see. You never know. But yeah, there we go. I shall get this done, and thank you so much. I hope you all stay warm. I hope you have a lovely day. Have a lovely weekend coming up, because I know today's Thursday, but weekend's coming. Don't do too much. Enjoy your family, and you know, just putting your feet up and having a bit of a chill. Right. Speak to you all soon. Bye bye for now.